day, students. I hope you're all doing great. I am here to teach you another lesson which is entitled Permutation Formula. In this lesson, you are expected to apply formula in finding permutation of n objects taking R at a time. Let us have a pretest to check what you already know about the lesson. Remember that you may pause this video if you want to reread the question, the choices, and the answer. Directions. Apply the formula in finding permutation of n objects taking R at a time. Write only the letter of the correct answer. For number 1, what is the permutation of 8 taking 5 at a time? A. 56, B. 336, C. 1400, or letter D. 6720. The answer is D. 6720. Number 2. If the permutation of 9 taken R at a time is equal to 3024, what is R? A. 2, B. 4, C. 5, or D. 6? The answer is letter B. If permutation of n taken 4 at a time is equal to 5040, which of the following is the value of n? A. 12, B. 10, C. 9, or D. 8? The answer is B. Number 4. What is the total number of different permutations of all the letters of the word math? A. 48, B. 36, C. 24, or D. 12? The answer is letter C. Number 5. In how many ways can 9 different books be arranged on a shelf? A. 5040, B. 9000, C. 120,000, or letter D. 362,880. The answer is letter D. Let us have a recap about the past lesson factorial. I want you to rewrite the following factorials. 1. 7 factorial with a factor of 3 factorial. 2. 15 factorial with a factor of 10 factorial. And 3. 20 factorial with a factor of 14 factorial. Check if your answer is correct. For number 1, 2, and 3. I hope you got all the correct answers. Are you ready to learn more? Let's do it! Let me give you a situation. During the quarantine period, you have decided to clean your room. You found the following items: a watch, a laptop, a mobile phone, a pair of shoes, a book, a tablet, a bracelet, and a shirt. Suppose that you want to store each of these items in a box. There are 8 items to be placed, but you only have 3 boxes where only one thing can be placed in each box. How many options do you have if you are going to choose 3 according to its importance? Among the 8 items, what will you place on the first, second, and third box? And why? What if you decided to place the laptop in the first box, the mobile phone on the second box, and the book on the third box? The question is, how can we compute for all the possible ways of placing these things? Remember that there are 8 items, and there are only 3 boxes, and you can choose any of them to put in the first, second, and third box. To answer the question, how can we compute for all the possible ways of placing these items? Let us look at the number of choices we have for each box. We must identify the number of choices we have for each box. For the first box, we have 8 choices, and after choosing 1, we only have 7 for the second box, and 6 for the last box. By fundamental principle of counting, all we have to do is to get the product, and the product is the number of possible ways of placing the items. But if you look at the given expression, 8 times 7 times 6, what have you noticed? The factors are consecutive, and this can also be written into factorial form, which will give us the expression 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 factorial divided by 5 factorial. If we write it, we have 8 factorial divided by 5 factorial. Now, looking at the numbers we have here, what does 8 and 5 represent in the problem? Yes, you are right. 8 stands for the number of objects to be placed, while we have 3 boxes and each of the item can be placed in each box. And if we choose 3 items, there are 5 remaining items that were not chosen. Therefore, we can say that n is equal to 8, the number of objects, and r is equal to 3, the number of chosen items to be placed in each box. This can be denoted in permutation as permutation of n taken r at a time equals n factorial divided by the quantity of n minus r closed quantity factorial, where n and r are positive integers and r is greater than or equal to 1 but less than or equal to n. The expression n, p, r is read as permutation of n objects taken r at a time. Other notations are and let us answer the problem using the permutation formula. For our solution, n equals 8, r equals 3. By substitution, we have 8 factorial divided by the quantity of 8 minus 3, closed quantity factorial. By simplifying, we have 8 times 7 times 6 equals 336 ways. Therefore, there are 336 ways in placing 8 items in the 3 boxes. Let us have examples for you to understand more. Number 1, we have to evaluate the following permutations. For letter A, our solution would be substitute 6 to n and 6 to r. So we will have 6 factorial divided by 6 minus 6 factorial. And that would be equal to 6 factorial divided by 0 factorial. 6 factorial is equal to 720 and 0 factorial is equal to 1. 720 divided by 1 is equal to 720. For letter B, we have the permutation of 10 taken 4 at a time. Our solution would be 10 factorial divided by 10 minus 4 factorial equals 10 factorial divided by 6 factorial. By simplifying, we will have 10 times 9 times 8 times 7, which is equal to 5040. For letter C, permutation of 12 taken 5 at a time. Solution: 12 factorial equals 12 minus 5 factorial equals 12 factorial divided by 7 factorial. By simplifying, we have 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 8, which is equal to 95,040. For our second set of example, we have to find the known variable. Letter A, permutation of 9 taken r at a time equals 504. Letter B, permutation of n taken 3 at a time equals 990. For letter A, the given is permutation of 9 taken r at a time equals 504. By looking at the given, we already know that n is equal to 9, and we have to look for the value of r. So let's substitute 9 to n given the formula. So we will have 9 factorial divided by 9 minus r factorial equals 504. And 9 factorial is equal to 362,880. Next, by multiplication property of equality, we will have this solution. 362,880 divided by 504 equals 9 minus r factorial. Getting the quotient, we will have 720 equals 9 minus r factorial. And 720 can be expressed to factorial, and that is 6 factorial equals 9 minus r factorial. Since we're looking for the value of r, we will have 6 equals 9 minus r. By addition property of equality, we will have 6 minus 9 equals negative r. 6 minus 9 is negative 3. That is equal to negative r. By multiplication property of equality, we will have r equals 3. For letter B, the given is permutation of n taken 3 at a time equals 990. Now, since we're looking for the value of n, all we have to do is to substitute the given in the formula. So we will have n factorial divided by n minus 3 factorial equals 990. To solve this, all we have to do is to express n factorial with a factor n minus 3 factorial. So our solution would be n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 times n minus 3 factorial divided by n minus 3 factorial. By cancellation, we will have n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 equals 990. The given expression n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 represents a number. And that number should be or should have the product 990. And those numbers are 11 times 10 times 9. 11 is n, 10 is n minus 1, and 9 is n minus 2. Therefore, our n is equal to 11. In the third set of example, we have to solve the following problems. Letter A, in how many ways can the letters of the word COVID be arranged if all letters are used? Letter B, how many different ways can the 6 GrabFood motorcycles be parked if there are 8 available parking spaces? For letter A, since the word COVID has 5 letters and all letters are used, therefore our solution is permutation of 5 taken 5 at a time equals 5 factorial divided by 5 minus 5 factorial, which is equal to 5 factorial divided by 0 factorial. 5 factorial is 120, while 0 factorial is 1. 120 divided by 1 is equal to 120. Therefore, there are 120 ways of arranging the letters of the word COVID. Letter B. Since there are 8 available parking spaces and only 6 GrabFood motorcycles will be parked, we will have the following solution. Permutation of 8 taken 6 at a time, which is equal to 8 factorial divided by 8 minus 6 factorial equals 8 factorial divided by 2 factorial. By simplifying, we will have the answer 20,160 ways. Let's wrap up what you learned today. Permutation of n objects taken R objects has the following formula. Permutation of n taken r at a time is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, where n and r are positive integers and r is greater than or equal to 1 but less than or equal to n. Other rotations are the expression n, p, r is read as permutation of n objects taken r at a time. For our valuing, you will write a reflection. In solving problems of permutation, it is easier if you use formula. In real life, we also need formula to succeed. You as a student, what is your formula to be successful in the future? Let us have our post test to know if you learned something today. Remember that you may pause this video whenever you want to read the question, the choices, and the answers. Directions. Apply the formula in finding permutation of n objects taken r at a time. Write only the letter of the correct answer. For number 1, what is the permutation of 10 taken 3 at a time? The answer is letter B. Number 2, if the permutation of 8 taken r at a time is 336, which of the following is the value of r? The answer is letter B. Number 3, if the permutation of n taken 4 at a time is equal to 11,880, which of the following is the value of n? The answer is letter C. James has downloaded 15 songs in his cell phone. How many different ways can he play 5 songs? The answer is letter D. Number 5. In how many ways can 7 potted pots be arranged in a row? The answer is letter D. For you to practice more of what you have learned today, you will answer different activities. For activity number 1, you have to evaluate each expression. For activity number 2, you will solve for the unknown in each item. For activity number 3, you will answer each permutation problem completely. Now, it's time to check your answer if it is correct. Thank you for listening. See you on our next video and happy learning!